Welcome back to another video, guys, here with Onewheel, and today I have a very interesting topic, and that is about regaining our interest in the Onewheel. So if you have been searching around and looking for other vehicles and other e-vehicles, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big fan of floating, and so if you need to find a way to float, go ahead and do that. But if you don't have money and you're trying to break the bank to go find something else, or when you have a Onewheel right in your own home, we want to value that and appreciate that Onewheel, right? Because we did invest in it. It's a big investment, really big one. So what can we do to kind of get that back? Well, before I get into the topic of some steps and what we can do to get our interest back and rekindle that fire and that burning desire to ride again, I do want to talk about human nature in general, okay? So humans by nature are very dynamic creatures. We are very unique, right? All of us are very unique in some form or fashion. And so we change over time, right? Like we adapt, we grow, we learn, we're intelligent individuals. And so the Onewheel though is still the Onewheel. The Onewheel still charges, it still balances, and it still runs, the motor's still going, right? So what is the problem, or what changed? Well, it's not really a problem. It's just that the Onewheel hasn't changed. We changed as a person. We grow, we adapt, and we learn. So the first thing I want to talk about is reflecting, okay? Reflecting and reminiscing on why you bought the Onewheel in the first place. Okay, now I want you guys to, let's just go all the way back in time. Think back to when you first got your Onewheel. What made you buy the Onewheel? Was it someone that you saw riding it and you saw them having a good time and you got curious? Was it the ads telling you how this thing can destroy boredom and so you gave in to the ad? Was it an alternative to getting around your city or your town and maybe it saves you on gas and so it is a practical vehicle for you? You got a chance to try it, you got a taste, and it wasn't as easy as you thought, and you like challenge, and so you wanted to take on this challenge and master it and learn it. Or maybe you like board sports already and you want to ride at any time of the year, any season. Maybe you bought it because you're a risk taker, or you thought that this was like a little bit of some risk involved and dangerous, and you like that. You like the adventure that it could give you at the same time. Perhaps you're an impulse buyer and you bought it because it looked fun on impulse, and man, that's a lot of money to spend on impulse. But either way, whatever your reason is, reflect back on that. Like, think about why did I get this Onewheel? What was that feeling that I had? What is that? What is it again? And whatever that is, that reason, think about that. So for me, it was a means to get out and explore the world because I couldn't do so with my friends and family like I normally would. And so think about what it did for you, and that would help you grow an appreciation for this little machine or this computer or this toy or whatever, or this vehicle, whatever you want to consider it as. Now, the second thing you can do, aside from reflecting, reminiscing on why you enjoy this Onewheel and thinking about how you felt and you want to go and chase that feeling again, the second thing you want to think about is make goals for yourself, right? So if you're riding the Onewheel today, don't just ride the Onewheel. Say, today I'm gonna ride the Onewheel and I'm gonna ride from here to here, and I'm gonna see if I can get maybe a little bit more range, maybe change my stance a little bit, or maybe I'm going to take some weight off of me and go lighter this time, or ride the Onewheel and only carve. Don't ride straight at all at any time. So make these little games for yourself, right? Like challenges. We do this when I remember when I was a kid, I used to play video games, and my mom would not buy me a video game every week or every month, right? I had this video game, and so I had to make the most out of it. And so I would start making these little challenges for myself within that video game. Well, the same thing with the Onewheel. We can just start making little challenges for ourselves. Now, the third thing, since we're talking about goals, use the app. You guys, don't forget, there is an achievements in the app, right? So if you can't make your own personal goals, use the app. They already have some outlined for you there. Try to actually accomplish all those app achievements or goals. that will make you very, very experienced on the one wheel. Ride at different times. You know, they have some where you like ride really late at night, you know, and then some of them where you ride at a certain time every day. Some of them where you know, do these achievements. Get your achievement score and your profile score up in the one wheel app and community, you know, and prove that, you know, this thing, you've outgrown it, right? But if you haven't done those achievements, at least half of them, you know, some of them are a little bit really, you know, for me, really challenging to do, but, you know, because of my schedule. But if you have the availability and time to do it, like, just do it so you can have that bragging right, you know? And so anyway, don't forget about the app. Don't forget about the achievements. Now that brings me to the next topic, which is riding style. I talk about this in one of my other videos about riding style, and it's really important that you identify your style. So anyone can eventually ride the one wheel, just like anyone can eventually drive a car, but if they're physically able to, of course. But at the end of the day, the style really makes a difference, you know, and the style is more than how you look on the board. That style even transcends to the custom, you know, settings that you have in your app on your board's profile. That even transcends into what kind of rider do I want to be? Do I want to be an indoor, you know, city, you know, do I want to be a shredder of trails, you know, do I want to be a trick riding, you know, monster, like whatever. Figure out your riding style and try out other ones too. Like, you might be surprised. It will make it a lot more interesting for you. If you guys haven't rode a trail, you know, definitely do that. Like, it's so fun, you know, and it's really hard, and it's gonna remind you that, oh wow, like riding a one wheel is not just riding one wheel and leaning into it. Like, you have to actually change your weight and de-weight and things like that, going up inclines, and, you know, have to work with that torque a little bit, and you work with that and pivot that board off the road, you know. So how do you do all of that, you know, so you're not coming off the board and things of that nature, you know? So when you're on a trail, so that's the learning curve and the skill level that comes with, you know, changing your ride style. So I'm a big fan of definitely finding your style, trying different styles, and that will make riding the one wheel definitely more enjoyable again. So now that brings me to the next topic, and speaking of style and ride locations, I want to talk about ride locations. So again, ride in different locations. Like, that is going to make your riding experience more enjoyable. Like, don't ride the same place over and over and over. So for example, I like city riding. I like parking garages. I like, you know, night lights, city life, you know, that kind of deal. You know, that's my style. Like, that's Muse, and I love my music bumping, you know, that's just my thing, you know. But not always. Like, I can do trails too. Like, I can do a little bit of everything. I do tricks too. Like, I do it all. Like, I'm getting the most out of my one wheel. My one wheel is just not a one wheel, like, for just cruising. Like, I want it to be everything, right? Because I want to maximize that investment. But definitely don't ride the same place all the time. Mix it up, change it up. You know, my rule is, if you rode one place, you know, one day, don't go ride again the next day the same place. Like, each day cannot be the same place. You can ride the same place, but don't do it consecutively day after day after day. If you do, completely change the route if you're gonna go there, right? So mix it up. I'm a big fan of that, and those of you that rode me know that I like to mix it up even when I like to go to my favorite location, which is downtown. So definitely change your location up, and you'll be surprised. Like, literally look up parks, Google like parks in your area, you know, look up, you know, things to do in your area. Like, if you live in New York City, look up things to do in New York, and usually they'll have some cool, like, you know, public touristy place to go, and generally they're decent to ride in as well too. They're very scenic to ride in. So, you know, whatever it is, look up the things that are interesting in your area, in your town, and ride there. Go to those locations, and you'll be very intrigued with riding in a new location. Now, speaking of riding in new locations, the next topic I want to bring up is ride with music. Okay, now this might be subjective as well, but obviously it's all coming from my own personal experience. But for some reason, riding to like music is inspiring. The music will inspire your ride and movement, and try to ride with music that fits where you're gonna ride. So like, when I ride downtown, I like, you know, hip-hop urban type style music, and that's the kind of music that I'll ride to. But when I'm trail riding, I might change it to something more ambient and more electronic, or maybe some house music or techno music, because there's just a lot of things passing by, you know. So have categories or playlists catered to where you're gonna ride to inspire you in those locations too. Music is incredibly important, guys, and I am a big fan of it. You know, I ride with this DOS speaker, and this speaker puts out some sound and it's awesome, you know. And if you guys have Spotify, you can even like create like these group sessions where you can all listen to the same music together when you guys are far apart, and you can synchronize the speakers Bluetooth wise so that they're coming out at the same time. Like, there's just so many things you can do with music alone that can propel a one-wheel ride. Like, it really helps you to live the moment rather than, you know, it's just amazing, you know. And then when you listen to those songs when you're not riding, they're gonna help you reflect back on when you rode this amazing location, you had this cool scene, you know, and it's just like, wow, you know. And it's like this whole like experience that you had, like it was a full experience, right? So ride to some music. Do not recommend wearing headphones for a safety reason. You know, you need to have all your audible, capabilities available. But I do recommend getting some type of Bluetooth speaker where you can kind of play it out loud, but still hear like a car coming in behind you or something like that, right? Or a hawk coming from the sky to grab you or whatever. Who knows, whatever. Okay, so moving on to the next topic. And this last topic is one that I feel is the most important, because this will really make or break the ride for you. But ride with other people. Now, if that is possible. I know that's not possible for everybody because of their, you know, environment that they live in or their circumstances, but if you can get at least one buddy to ride with you, have that riding buddy, right? Like, I've got one guy that I just grab, you know, good friend of mine, you know, I grab him, we ride and we go all the time, you know. And he's a great riding buddy because when he wants to ride, he knows he can just grab me, and I'm always willing and ready to ride too. So, you know, find your riding buddy or find groups and communities in your area, you know, through Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Find out where the action is happening. The reason why is because that camaraderie will motivate and inspire you, you know, to ride more. And maybe you'll find someone there that rides really well, or you like a style and say, I like that. I want to kind of adopt that and kind of make it my own. And, you know, and then it's just so much better when you ride with other people, guys. It's like playing a game, but when you can do it in co-op, it's more enjoyable. Or it's like going to the gym, you know, like having that person you know that can go to the gym with you makes you feel a lot more comfortable because you've got that buddy that you can go to the gym and work out with, you know. So definitely, guys, find a ride buddy or find a group or community to connect with and be part of. You'll also rekindle that fire for riding the one wheel again, okay? And the last but not least topic that I wanted to bring up, and this one I really don't like this one because it's like a very temporary fix and band-aid, and it also costs money. All the stuff that I mentioned before already don't really cost you anything other than gas and time and resources, right? But this one really will take monetary, you know, funds out of your pocket, but it does rekindle things. So I recently just recolored my board, and yeah, it inspired like an entirely new thing. Like, I added vinyls to it and everything like that. And by the way, I have a video coming out where I will show you guys how I did it. It's a very tedious process, but it definitely is a very rewarding one. And now when I look at my new color, my new one wheel, it just seems like it's brand new again. So yeah, customize your board, guys. Mod it out, like make it your own, give it a new color, give it a new, you know, swag, you know, because that will motivate and inspire you to ride again and more, you know, more and more. So anyway, guys, so I hope these topics were helpful in some form or fashion. If you can apply just one or some of these, that would be great. But I hope this helps you to kind of look back at your one wheel and give it a second chance if you're thinking about moving on from it, or if you are thinking about just getting rid of it altogether, or if you just don't get excited when wanting to ride again. Try out one of these and you'll be amazed, okay? All right, guys, well, I hope you guys are floating, but, you know, if you're not floating, find a way to float, and if you are, stay floating. Everybody stay safe out there. Muse Well out. See y'all.